guys, today for my monthly makeup ranking. I have 17 different products to rank for you, and I'm going to have the numbers on the screen just because I know I'm going to mix it up because I don't have them labeled right now, and I actually didn't have anything that I thought was a fail. I had some things that just didn't quite meet my expectations, some things that are just okay, and then things I really love. So I'm going to start with my bottom 4 being products that I returned. They were not terrible, but not good enough that I felt like I wanted to keep them and use them up, because I know how long it takes to use products up, and I have had to work through a lot of things that I thought were just okay, so I don't want to intentionally do that to myself. So coming in at the bottom would be the Polite Society foundation. When I saw people review this, it looked like it had amazing coverage. For me, it did not, and I applied a couple layers because not that much comes out per pump, and it was not impressive. It wore off on me throughout the day. I just did not get the hype about this foundation whatsoever. I do have a first impression wear test, which I will link down below. Next, at number 16 would be the Tarte Shape Tape Ultra Radiant Concealer, and this really is my bad. I shouldn't have purchased this because the original worked so well for me, but I did try Ultra Creamy in the past. Wasn't my fave, and I just wanted to try this version as well. It was on sale, and I think this would be really nice potentially for people that have more dry under eyes, but for me it looked very dewy. It almost looked wet under my eyes. It didn't have any shimmer, which was nice, and I think that this is a little bit like thinner and less coverage than Ultra Creamy, but I mattify my skin so much that it sort of defeats the purpose, and I just didn't think that that wet look was very flattering under my eyes, so I did return that, and that was, again, my bad. I shouldn't have purchased it in the first place. Next, at number 15 is going to shock you, the About Face Performer Foundation. I think I chose a color that was a little bit too dark for me. I wasn't quite sure whether I should go with the neutral or the warm undertone. I don't like the applicator. It is large, but it's not fluffy. So it actually, to me, did not hold very much product, and I did feel like I needed to dip back in. Also, it's just so tight around the product. When you pull it out, it like splatters, which of course is not great, and that's something that you definitely do need to be careful with. So having to be careful every single day is a little bit irritating. I thought the coverage was fine. It looked pretty, it wore okay, but this did not blow me away. It was just a fine product for me. So it's something that I would consider trying again. Maybe I'll try it in another shade, but I was not blown away like everybody else, which makes me so sad. My friend Jean found a perfect skin tone match for her and just loves the way that it looks and wears on her skin, and I just did not have that same experience, but literally everybody else has. And it's a very affordable foundation, so I'd say give it a try. It just did not blow me away, and I have quite a few foundations in my collection that I want to work through that either work just as well or better than that one. And then at 14 we have the NYX Pro Fix, the concealer stick. And the reason that this is ranking where it is, the reason I returned it, is because of the shade. So in most foundations and concealers, I'm the lightest shade. This one I tried shade number 3, which is great, and I'm happy to see them not the fairest color, that they have other options, but this ended up still being a little bit light for me. It was a little bit more yellow, which was great, but it was a little too light. But shade number 4 was so different from number 3. It was a little bit more pinky, but it also was much darker. Like honestly, there should have been like 2 concealers at least in between 3 and 4. So there just is not a good shade for me, unfortunately, because I do think that this would be a lovely product for blemishes or to keep in your purse to touch up throughout the day, or if you're like me and you have kids that make your makeup rub off, or glasses marks. I did use it to touch up, and I think that the formula was really nice, not too creamy, not too dry, and gave good coverage, but the lighter shade is not going to work for me if I'm using it to cover up blemishes. If it's lighter, it's going to draw attention. So it is really because of the shade, which is such a bummer. If you can find a good shade, I think this would be great. I've seen people using it under their eyes. I know they have more corrector type shades, but I would say the formula would probably be best for the face or for touching up. So those are products that I don't have anymore. Now we're getting into the products that I think are fine, but don't blow me away. I already forgot what number we're at. So on the screen, this is something I had gotten as a free gift from Ulta. This is the e.l.f. Glossy Lip Stain, and this is in the color Pinkies Up. And I don't like how small this is. I feel like it's like a little bit clunky to hold on to and apply. And this color Pinkies Up on me ends up being pretty peachy. This is a very nice glossy stain. I am really impressed that for a nude color, you do have this much color to it. It is this much pigment, but it also is like a true lighter nude. A lot of times lip stains that look like they're going to be nude are more tan or brown, but this remains a light color, which is great. It does also stain this color, which is lovely. And I feel like the glossiness faded pretty quickly, and the stain I feel like was a nice gradual stain, but likely that is due to the color that I have. I think that this is a fine product. I'm not blown away by glossy stains in general, and I feel like I need to just like not buy them, even though I was trying out a couple different formulas. I actually have another one here to rank for you, but it just is not like my favorite type of lip product. I also felt like this dried out my lips a little bit after it wore off, which I think is going to happen with most lip stains. It is definitely not the most drying lip stain that I've tried because it does have that glossy formula as well, but you can see it has a nice shine, nice pigment. I definitely would say that this is worth trying out, but I don't know that this is something I'm going to hang on to just because I have such a large collection. Next is a K-Beauty lippy that I tried. I am going to have like more content coming with my K-Beauty products. I have another order coming. So this is from Judydoll. It is their Watery Glow lipstick. This is the shade number 1. I really love the packaging. I think it's very pretty, and this is a sheer but buildable lipstick. It has a little bit of shine to it. This is a nice thin formula. This is not like the Makeup by Mario lippies. It's not that glossy, it's not that thick. It actually reminds me most of the Kosas Wet Slick lipsticks, where again it is more of like that solid formula. It is more thin and glossy. So if you like the Kosas ones, I think that you would like the Judydoll ones. For me, I'm not as into that formula as I am the Makeup by Mario. I prefer something that's like a little bit thicker and creamier. So I likely am not going to buy any other shades, but I do think I will get some nice use out of this. I think it will be a really pretty shade for spring and summer. I feel like this dried out my lips a little bit as it wore off, but I've also been having especially dry lips over the past couple weeks. So I think that this is a fine lippy, but not blowing me away, and I have other formulas that I like better. Next, I have the Milanni Fruit Fetish Lip Oil in Cranberry Currant. This was limited edition, and people were going bonkers for this, so I felt like, okay, I have to pick it up while it is still available. It is a very sheer tint. This does actually seem like a very true lip oil. It is not too thick, but also not thin and slippery. It feels very smooth and cushiony and soft and hydrating. You've got some beautiful shimmer in here. I think this is a great formula. I just wish it had a little bit more pigment like some of their newer shades do. So if there was a touch more pigment, this would rank higher. This is something that I feel like I'm going to end up using as just like a good purse lippy for something that gives a hint of color but also just feels very comfortable. So not a bad thing to have, but for someone that has 100 lip glosses, it is not essential for me. Next in the more fine category would be another K-Beauty lippy. This is from Romand. This is their Glasting Water Tint. They have a couple different tints. This is the formula that is most similar to the Rare Beauty lip stains, and I did do a comparison and a first impression try on of this, and I did swatch the other color that I have compared it to the Rare Beauty ones that I have. I will have that linked down below. This is color number 15, Nudy Sundown, and I do like this. I was scared at first because the color is a little bit more orangey, but as it settled into my lips, a little bit more pink came through. And this does have that like wet cooling feeling on the lips. A good bit of pigment to this. It stains immediately, and I touched up with this and I got that color and that shine back, and I don't feel like it made my lips more dry once I reapplied it, which is great because a lot of lip stains do that. So I do think that this is a better formula than the e.l.f. And part of me is tempted to get another shade, but I don't think I will. I think I'm good with the shades that I have. I do, because I'm just curious. I would love to try like one color of each of the other Roman tints for me to be able to tell the difference between them and review them for you guys. So I might do that in the future. But if you really liked the Rare Beauty lip stains, then I do think that you will enjoy these. Again, it's a great product, but for me, I would rather just use a lipstick or a lip gloss. The next product in the fine category would be the Persona Super Blush in Jam. This is a Barney Purple. This is very pigmented, so I did have to go in with a light hand. I have all of the other powder blushes, so I really wanted to complete the collection, and this was on sale at Ulta at the holiday time, and I had a coupon on top of it, so I got a pretty good discount on this. And I really did like the look that I incorporated this into, but it is not as easy to throw on as some of my other winter blushes, and this isn't my favorite shade out of the Persona blushes. So very happy to have it, and if you have a deeper skin tone, I think this would look incredible and even more flattering on you. So good product, not essential for me. And then the very last product I'm going to say is fine is the Oden's Eye Hey Reindeer palette. And you guys know I had to get the holiday palettes from the past year because they re-released the one from 2 years ago. I had missed out on Christmas Eve. I bought that one. I bought these other ones because I was not going to miss out again. And this is the most random color story to me. This has the least to do with Christmas. I don't even necessarily get the reindeer feels from here. And I think a lot of these shades individually are really nice. I enjoyed some of the looks I created with them, but this is just pretty darn random. The only color in here that was a bit of a flop was Cider. I feel like I wasn't really able to build that one up to show up very well, but everything else in here I do think is a nice shade. I don't know how much I'm going to wear this more yellow or that orange, but everything else I do think I would get some use out of, but that I'm going to have to like intentionally reach for this palette or try to come up with other shades that can go with these, so I will want to reach for it. So oh, this seems like a missed opportunity. I should have used this color Candy Canes because that looks like a really pretty multi-chrome, but it might be something that I use in spring. It's definitely a springy type of shade for me. But anyway, just the color story puts us in that fine category. Everything else here I'm going to say is a favorite. So at the bottom of the favorites, we've got the Glaminatrix Nearly Natural palette. And I have not used all the shades in here. I mostly used the cool tones, and then I did use this matte and this matte. This is my first Glaminatrix palette. I do have another one from them that I have not used yet, and I want to buy Fairy Lights. Very expensive brand. It is an Australian brand, so shipping is a little bit up there, but they do have affiliate coupon codes. Definitely use Karen's code, KH Makeup, I believe. And I was so impressed with this. The metallics are really nice and metallic and special and sparkly looking on the eyes. The mattes are very pigmented and blend out quite nicely. So I'm excited to use the shades that I have not gotten to try, but so glad I was able to get this palette before they got rid of it, which I don't know why they would do that because it's amazing and everybody was so excited about it. Next, we have the Oden's Eye Jewels and Gem palette. I am wearing this on my eyes today. I love seeing this shape from Oden's Eye. The squares are hard for me to store. This still works fine. I love having 15 shades to choose from, and I love the colors here. I think this is a really cool, more smoky palette, but this is not as deep and grungy as Pretty Grunge from Huda. I definitely like this way more color story wise. The only negative for me is that some of these metallic shades were a little bit dry. I'm wearing one on my lid today and I still think it applied fine, but was a little bit more dry to the touch than I was expecting. But I would say there actually were not any duds from the shades that I tried so far, so really impressed with that palette. Unless I skipped anything, we're now at the top 5, and number 5 is another K-Beauty lippy. This is from Romand. This is their Glasting Melting Balms, and this is one of the newer shade extensions. The packaging changed and got a little bit nicer, which is exciting. This is number 11, Buffy Coral, and even though it is called Coral, this definitely has a little bit of like peach with gray in it. It's like a smoky nude, which I really love. Is very pretty, and you can see this is a melting balm. It is a little bit messy, and one good thing though is that with these you can twist them back down. Now I'm not going to twist up too much because I don't want to get caught up and have an error, but it can twist back down, which is really exciting. And this is very similar to the Makeup by Mario. It's that same thickness and creaminess. This has more of a fruity scent. If you're not a mint person, you guys know I am a mint person, but this does not bother me. I love the way that it felt and looked on the lips. It gave a lot of beautiful shine, looked very nice and smooth. I do have 2 shades and I have already ordered more. So really, really love this formula, and so great to see an affordable version. I know a lot of other brands have been coming out with Makeup by Mario dupes. A lot of them I've liked, but this is definitely a great one. I would highly recommend if you see some shades that you're interested in. And there are a lot of gals that have lip swatched these. State of Kate, Nicolette P, Glitter Goblin, Julie Adams MUA, also probably Teresa Galina. There's lots of people that have done lip swatches of these, and those are just American creators. Also a lot of course, tons of K-Beauty creators as well. Then for 4 and 3, these are not as fun. These are more staple products, but I was really impressed with the formula. So these are both products from Huda Beauty that I got from Skeepers, which was so lucky. I have the free version that anybody can have, but it is so hard to snag products. So I have to thank my friend Jamie for letting me know when these were available, and I was so lucky that they were still in stock. So at number 4, we have the Faux Filter Corrector. Now I have the shade Peach. Pink Pomelo would have worked better for me, but it was sold out. And then maybe their new Cherry Blossom color, which is a bit more pink, but I don't know. Pink Pomelo is something I definitely want to buy in the future. And I'm saying that knowing this is going to take me a year to get through maybe, but this is a great formula. I tried several different color correctors last year, and I have oily under eyes, so I don't actually usually prefer more of a pot corrector because it's just too hydrating for me. And a lot of times they're a little bit too pinky and brightening, and I want something that's a little bit correcting. So this is very peach. It's very pigmented, a little bit too deep for me. So I am mixing it with the Tower 28 concealer that I was using as a corrector, and those formulas mixed together perfectly. I did not like this formula as a concealer, but in the corrector it is so good. I love that it's a liquid. It's very pigmented, so you don't need to use a ton, but I think this could be so amazing for like beard coverage and everything else. So impressed with this formula. They have a really great shade range. I don't think this is too hydrating. I don't find it to be drying, but let me know if you've had a different experience. But this is fantastic color corrector. Then at number 3, we have got the Easy Bake Loose Powder. This is the Cherry Blossom Cake. I was so scared to try a pink powder, but this is not too crazy pink. It's nice and brightening without looking scary under my eyes, and I definitely am interested in trying other shades. This was nice and smoothing and mattifying. I was afraid this would be too scented, but at least this scent in particular didn't bother me. So I love these so much that I already want to get other shades, even though I'm nowhere near finishing these. And then at number 2, we have the Oden's Eye Snow Dream palette from the holidays. And you guys are probably not surprised by this. It's a neutral palette, which I was excited to see from Oden's Eye. And basically it's all neutral with this one purple color. And I really liked the shades in here. I didn't use this one yet, but I'm going to imagine that that's going to be hard to build, as my experience has been with their other pastels. This color Feast, for some reason, I feel like wasn't as pigmented as, for instance, this color. This, you barely tap your brush. Tons of pigment. This, I feel like I had to build it up a bit, which is weird because it is much deeper than my skin tone. So that was a bummer. But everything else here I think has been amazing. Beautiful shades, great formula. So really happy to have this one. And this is called Snow Dream, but there are some gingerbread men on the palette. And this, I feel like, is giving very much gingerbread vibes. Then at number 1, we have got the Pat McGrath Starstruck Splendor palette. This was from Holiday. I was able to get mine about 50% off from Sephora. So in here you've got 2 blushes and 9 eyeshadows. I really do like her blush formula. This is a permanent shade in Nymphet, and then this is exclusive to this set, Coral Cosmos. And then I really love these shades. These are her like regular eyeshadow formula, but very pigmented, blend nicely, look beautiful in the eyes, and you guys know this is my color story. So yes, a little bit of a bulky palette, but I've really enjoyed using this, and I definitely will be reaching for that a good bit. Woo, I feel like I went really fast and didn't really take much of a breath there, but I would love to hear your thoughts if you've tried out any of these products, and I would love to know what things you tried for the first time this past month and your thoughts on them. I'm gonna thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.